The 4th of July, also known as Independence Day in the United States, is more than just fireworks, parades, and backyard barbecues. It is a day steeped in history, patriotism, and the celebration of freedom. Let's dive into the story behind this significant national holiday, explore how it's celebrated across the country, and uncover some fun and surprising facts about the day that shaped a nation. To truly understand the importance of the 4th of July, we need to go back to the 18th century. The American colonies were under British rule and the tensions had been building for years. Colonists were increasingly frustrated with British taxes and the lack of representation in Parliament. Something that people often get wrong is that the 4th of July is Independence Day. Not only was it not the day that we originally declared independence, but rather the day that the wording was formalized. It also was not the day that everything was signed, but also it was not the day that America actually gained its independence. It was merely the day it declared its independence, and there would be a long and bloody war for actual independence. The Boston Tea Party was a bold act of protest that took place on the night of December 16, 1773, in Boston Harbor. In response to the Tea Act, which was passed by British Parliament, American colonists were frustrated with taxation without representation and decided to take action. They disguised themselves as Mohawk warriors. A group of colonists boarded the 3 ships and dumped 342 chests of British tea into the harbor, destroying an enormous amount of property. This act of defiance shook the British government and led to the implementation of the Coercion Acts, also known as the Intolerable Acts, which only intensified colonial resistance. The Boston Tea Party became a defining moment in the build-up to the American Revolution and remains a powerful symbol of protest and resistance to unjust authority. It should also be mentioned that the reason they dressed up as Mohawk warriors was to frame the Native Americans for this crime. So there is a complex layer to this history. This unrest eventually led to the outbreak of the American Revolutionary War in 1775. The American Revolution wasn't just a fight for independence from Britain. It was also a civil war. About 1 in 3 colonists remained loyal to the British Crown during the Revolutionary War. These people were known as Loyalists or Tories and were American-born but sided with Britain, believing rebellion was dangerous, unlawful, or unnecessary. Families were torn apart, neighbors turned against each other, and in some cases, violence erupted, not between redcoats and rebels, but between Americans themselves. Some were tarred and feathered. Some had everything taken from them. Tens of thousands of Loyalists fled the United States after the war. Many went to Canada, the Caribbean, or back to England, because staying would have meant persecution, land seizures, or worse. This layer of internal conflict is often overshadowed by the patriotic narrative of the 4th of July, but it's a powerful reminder that revolutions are messy, complicated, and personal. Thomas Jefferson was one of the most influential figures in American history. He is best known as the primary author of the Declaration of Independence. Born in 1743 in Virginia, Jefferson was a brilliant thinker, skilled writer, and passionate advocate for liberty and individual rights. He served as the 3rd president of the United States from 1801 to 1809 and played a key role in expanding the country through the Louisiana Purchase. Despite his ideals of freedom, Jefferson's legacy is complex. He was a slave owner, and historians continue to grapple with the contradictions between his words and his actions. He left behind a legacy that still sparks discussion and debate today. On July 2nd, 1776, the Continental Congress voted in favor of independence, and it wasn't until July 4th that the final wording of the Declaration of Independence, primarily authored by Thomas Jefferson, was approved. The document declared that the 13 American colonies were no longer subject to the rule of Britain and were now united, free, and independent states. From that point on, July 4th became the day Americans celebrate their nation's birth. The first celebrations of Independence Day began during the American Revolution. In 1777, Philadelphia marked the occasion with bonfires, bells, and fireworks. Over time, the 4th of July evolved into a more widespread and festive occasion. By the 19th century, it had become a major summer holiday. After the War of 1812, which reaffirmed America's independence, the celebrations became even more patriotic and symbolic. One of the most enduring traditions of the 4th of July is the fireworks display. This tradition symbolizes the rocket's red glare mentioned in the Star-Spangled Banner. Cities and towns across the country organize massive fireworks shows, often drawing large crowds. Families gather to watch the displays, and many people also light their own fireworks at home, although safety is always a concern when lighting fireworks. And also make sure to follow your local laws. Parades are another hallmark of Independence Day. From small-town processions featuring local marching bands to vintage cars to major events in cities like Washington, D.C. and New York, these parades celebrate American history and community spirit. Floats often showcase American symbols, historic figures, and military members. Barbecues and picnics are also a huge part of the 4th of July celebrations. Since the holiday falls in the heart of summer, it's a perfect time for outdoor gatherings. Grilled hot dogs, hamburgers, corn on the cob, and watermelon are staples of the day. Many communities hold public festivals with food vendors, games, and live music. Of course, the American flag plays a central role in Independence Day festivities. Many people wear red, white, and blue clothing. They decorate their homes with flags and bunting, and even paint stars and stripes on their faces. The display of the flag is a way for people to show their pride and honor the country's history. Another significant aspect of the 4th of July is the reading of the Declaration of Independence. In some towns, local officials or historians read the document aloud in public gatherings, a tradition that connects people to the words that sparked the creation of the United States. Now, let's take a moment to talk about some fun facts about the 4th of July. But before we do, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to help me grow my small channel. And now, to the fun facts. Did you know that John Adams, one of the founding fathers, believed that July 2nd should be the real Independence Day, since that's the day that Congress actually voted for independence, and Adams refused to celebrate the 4th of July. I was born on July 2nd, so I am all for them setting off fireworks on my birthday to celebrate me. I meant the country. 3 U.S. presidents have died on July 4th. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson both died on July 4th, 1826, exactly 50 years after signing the Declaration of Independence. James Monroe also died on July 4th in 1831. Here's an interesting one. Americans eat around 150 million hot dogs every 4th of July. That's enough hot dogs to stretch from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles more than 5 times. Fireworks are a big business during the 4th of July. Each year, Americans spend over $1 billion on fireworks. While professional displays are the main attraction, many states allow people to purchase and use their own fireworks, though laws vary widely. I live in North Carolina, but I live right near South Carolina, and many people like to drive over the border because South Carolina's fireworks laws are incredibly lax, and people will buy fireworks from South Carolina and then set them off here where our laws are a bit more strict. Anyway, the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia is tapped 13 times every Independence Day in honor of the original 13 colonies, though it hasn't rung since 1846 due to the large crack. This is a symbolic gesture that continues each year. John Hancock is famous today for his bold and stylish signature on the Declaration of Independence. It was the first and the largest of all of the signatures. However, he didn't actually play that big of a role in the American Revolution, and he really wasn't able to tough it very much. But his signature became so iconic that "put your John Hancock on something" is still a common phrase meaning to sign your name. And finally, while the Declaration of Independence was adopted on July 4th, it wasn't actually signed by most delegates until August 2nd, 1776. The famous painting of the signing depicts an idealized version of the event and not what actually happened. The 4th of July is a day rich with history and meaning. It's a time to reflect on the courage of those who fought for freedom, to appreciate the rights that we enjoy today, and to come together in celebration. Whether you're watching fireworks, lighting up the sky, enjoying a picnic with loved ones, or simply taking a moment to honor the past, Independence Day is a powerful reminder of the values that built the United States. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check the description for more resources and fun ideas to help bring the spirit of Independence Day into your home or community. Happy 4th of July. Bye!